Welcome, everybody, to the F4 Hunger Awareness Show.
It's my goal to feed 1 billion people before I die.
We want to bring awareness around the issue of hunger and food insecurity.
7 to 8 million people served so far. With the sole goal of eradicating world hunger by connecting sources of food to recipients in need. Fiorenza's Food for Friends.
Hi, Derek Fiorenza here on the F4 Hunger Awareness Show. Welcome to another special episode. This is part of the Chartwell Cares series, and today I'm here with Chris Pavuk, like Havoc. We were joking beforehand. I was like, I hope I get the name right. Chris Pavuk. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here.
What's really neat, Chris, is we have Pennsylvania ties. I'm from the eastern part of the state near Philadelphia. As I said to you in our pre-screening call, we also spent 3 years out in Pittsburgh. So California University is the state school I went to
Okay.
for my master's degree, and my dad is from Hazleton, so originally.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, so welcome to the podcast, and we'd love to learn a little bit about how you grew up and what led to becoming a lawyer.
I grew up in a family full of doctors. My father was a dentist. My father was one of 9 kids, and they were all went into the medical field. And when I got to college and realized that I couldn't stand chemistry, I figured it's time to pivot. So I decided to go to law school. I was told there would be no math, and that wasn't right because there's a lot of math in what we do here, calculating things. But I wanted to be a professional, and I wanted to, get into a field where I could help people, and that was really what started me down the path of law.
Amazing. Have you always lived in Pennsylvania?
I have.
Okay, where did you go to law school?
I went to Widener down in Harrisburg.
Okay, so is that the same Widener, the one that's in Delaware too? Are they part of the?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. They have two different campuses. They have the campus in Delaware. Obviously, the undergrad is in Chester County, and then they have the Commonwealth Law School in Harrisburg.
that's neat. So what was that experience like coming from going undergrad then into getting your law degree? What was that process like, the experience?
It was, I mean, it's just a lot of hard work. I mean, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. I mean, I went to a college prep school. Going to college wasn't bad. It was
Mhm.
just going to law school was, you know, doing the schoolwork is your job, and you
Yeah,
have to spend the time and put the time in. And, that's really, it's something that if you're willing to put the work into, anybody can get across the finish line for that. But it's really just a matter of of, of putting the work in and investing the time.
so you were in Harrisburg during the time, and now you're in Scranton. Were you living, I guess, from the Harrisburg area originally? Is that where you grew up?
No, I grew up here in Scranton, and when I went down to law school down there, I actually met was now my wife, who was originally from that area. So after law school, I came back up to Scranton and worked 2 years for a federal judge,
Oh,
and then after that, moved back down to Harrisburg and practiced there for 10 years. My former partner and I actually opened up the Harrisburg office of Chartwell. And then in 2009, a lot of the partners were trying to get me to move back up to Scranton and run the Scranton office, which once I had my fourth child, I ultimately did. I told my wife, my parents are up there, they're around to help. So let's do that. So in 2009, 2010, we grabbed all 4 kids and moved up to the Scranton area.
amazing. So you were in Harrisburg. Your wife went to Widener also?
No, she was a television producer. She is from the Harrisburg area, but no, you know, she went to George Washington and ultimately was all over the country doing television production work. So
Wow, what an exciting career she's had.
yeah, yeah, she's the interesting one
Oh
of the two
yeah.
of us. So
The better half, right?
yeah, exactly.
So you opened the Harrisburg office. You helped open the Chartwell Harrisburg office.
Yes, yeah.
What was that
So
like? There was nothing there, right? You built it.
yeah, my former partner and I, who isn't with Chartwell anymore, left our old firm. Chartwell at that point was only about 10 lawyers,
Okay.
And so he and I came over. We were probably somewhere in the 12th or 13th lawyer in the firm. We opened up that office and just that, continued the growth of the firm. The firm has grown unbelievably over the last 20 years. And that office continues to grow. So I ultimately, and then like I said, came up, and we opened up an office in Scranton, and I was running it from down in Harrisburg, and then ultimately, it just wasn't working. They needed me up there, so I ultimately, made the decision after being asked. I said to my wife, at some point they're going to stop asking me, and this is a great opportunity. So that's what I did. We moved the family up, and I always joked this is going to be the first step in my divorce, but it's been like I said, 25 or 15 years now that we've been up here, and it's all good. So
So at the time you set up Harrisburg, and then was the Scranton office already built, or they had asked you to set it up?
we set it up. We hired somebody up in Scranton.
Okay.
Um, Somebody actually I used to work with at my old firm. We hired him, and he was the only one up here. Then I was coming up, and I was hiring other people, and I was interviewing people to try and take over the running of the office because
Got it.
it was difficult to be running it from Harrisburg. And again, we just couldn't find anybody, and the office was languishing a little bit.
Mm.
So that's when I made the decision to come up and try and get up here and grow the office, and that's what we've done up here. So it's been a great move.
And how many attorneys and team members do you have up in Scranton?
We have right now we had a guy just leave, so we're down to 6 lawyers, but we have 6 lawyers here, and then we have I think 4 or 5 support staff. A lot of them are remote. A lot of people in the office now since COVID are remote,
Yeah.
so we've downsized the square footage of the office, but we still have same amount of bodies.
Do you like having the remote ability? Do you think that's making things easier, harder? What's your take on that?
Um, for me, I like being in the office,
Yeah.
but for a lot of people, it works really well. And actually, my paralegal was the first Chartwell employee to go remote. This is before COVID,
Wow.
and she was a great test case because she was a hard worker, and she would be able to get the work done no matter where she is. So she moved down to Florida, and because we're paperless, she used to be right outside my door.
Right.
Then she moves, 1,000+ miles away.
Yep.
But because we're paperless, we didn't miss a beat, and I didn't want to lose her because she was great. So ultimately, it worked out well, and it set the stage for when COVID hit and everybody worked from home. It gave everyone an opportunity to work from home, and we encourage it if people want to do it, but we have space for them if they want to come into the office. Some people are hybrid, some people are only at home, some people are only in the office. Um, it's just whatever your personality is. Fortunately, we have the ability and willingness to cater to that.
It's interesting and neat. I love the approach that you guys have taken. My dad and I run a financial planning firm in the Philadelphia area, and he and I come into the office every day. I don't think I'll ever not be able to do it. It's just part of my DNA. I can't work and focus as well at home as I can in the office. I come in the office, it's like the analogy I use is you're playing a football game, you put your helmet on. So for me, it's like get the helmet on, let's get hitting. But the team, the rest of our team, we have people in Delaware and in Alabama, and so throughout the country, and they're all supporting all of our clients, and it's working well. They love it. They really enjoy the freedom and flexibility to work from home. Their productivity is awesome.
Mhm.
So I would be very unproductive at home, but it
Mhm.
works well for them. So I think it's neat that you guys are so much larger, but you're still kind of implementing that policy and it's working for you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the flexibility is uh, it's great for the people who work for us, and it's also great for recruiting because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people out there that it just makes more sense for them to work from home, and a lot of employers are not willing to extend that to people. There's a push for some companies to get back into the office.
Yep.
So from a recruiting standpoint, it helps as well as morale in the office.
Chris, what's I'm going to shift gears on you a little bit here. What is the hardest thing about being an attorney, and what's the most rewarding thing about being an attorney?
The hardest thing about being an attorney is, for me, is the fact that you are dealing with a lot of negativity. Nobody goes to a lawyer
Yep.
when things are going well.
Yeah.
And um, my job is to argue with people
Mm,
and that's not my core personality. I kind of have to put that on when I go to work and be adversarial. Um, and it's very draining. It's funny, I would never tell somebody not to go to law school. A lot of people, when you talk to lawyers, say, "Oh, I wouldn't do it again." Uh, you know, Tell this person not to go to law school. I would never do that because I love what I do
mm,
and I've had a great career. Um, but that's something that nobody said to me before, and I didn't even think about that. I mean, it seems so obvious, right?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
ultimately, um, it wasn't, and it really can be draining sometimes, and it really can be a lot, and it's tough to you take some of that home with you. So that I think that's the hardest part about being a lawyer is dealing with that and being able to try to turn it off. It's really, I think that's the reason why a lot of lawyers have, substance abuse problems and have marital problems and whatnot. It's if you can't turn that off, it can really wear on you. So I think that that's probably for me the hardest thing about being a lawyer.
The negativity.
Yeah, the negativity.
How
And
how
then,
do you turn that off, Chris? Because you have four kids, you're married still.
yeah,
Bless,
it's
amen.
it's tough. It's tough. I mean, I try to kind of leave it behind me, leave it at the office. Um, I have hobbies. I like to golf. I play guitar. I
Nice.
fly fish. I don't do any of those as much as I'd like because of my kids, but my kids are starting to get a little older, so I'm starting to have a little more free time. But yeah, I think it's important to kind of get away from it and really kind of focus on the positives in life and try not to take it home with you and yell at your kids and yell at your wife if you had a bad day. So it's really, sometimes that's easier said than done because I try to be really good to my coworkers and my staff and be really encouraging. So I'm certainly not taking it out on them. So sometimes, it's
Yeah.
just life. I mean, you take it home and there's nowhere else to put it. But
People closest to you sometimes get it.
exactly, exactly.
I appreciate your vulnerability and just your humanness. I think we all could extend grace to ourselves because we all are going through so much. And that's something I've learned. You probably see it in your work, Chris, but somebody's always struggling with something. So it's like how can we approach situations, take a breath and be more compassionate because you just don't know what they're dealing with inside.
Right. Yeah, it's real. That's really an important thing to keep in mind whenever you're talking or dealing with people. You don't know what they
Yeah.
woke up to that day. You don't know what they're going through. You know, you realize as you get older that there's really nothing more important than health.
Yes.
Um, and you don't know if there's health issues with them or with family members. So it's really giving someone the benefit of the doubt is really important when you're dealing with people. And even if they might be having a bad day, but it's really, I think that's really important to always keep in the back of your mind.
And I guess you would tell a young attorney that's starting out or in law school or starting out at a firm, establish those healthy outlets and releases early in your career and don't wait till you're 10 years in to figure out what your hobbies are.
Absolutely, absolutely. Don't. Hopefully, you go in with some hobbies,
Hmm.
and don't lose them.
Yeah.
Carve out time. Make sure that you have time to take care of yourself. It's really a work-life balance is really important. I never had like anxiety issues my entire life until I really got older and really started feeling the effects of family and work and everything else and having it kind of pile up. And then you start realizing that some things are stressful. The stuff that used to kind of slide off my back when I was younger doesn't anymore. So it's important to have the outlets to be able to focus on outside of work and kind of really take a step away without being on your phone every 5 minutes, taking a look, at work emails.
I think I play guitar too. You mentioned guitar. So like for me it's nice. I play church on Sundays and I know I look forward to that 4 o'clock time slot. Sundays is we have mass. I play guitar at 4 o'clock and obviously I go to worship the Lord. I love being able to reconnect spiritually, but there is something about being able to just play my music with a group
Yeah.
for an hour. I know it sounds crazy, but it's like I look forward to it all week.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's so therapeutic. I mean, it really is because that's what you're focused on and everything else kind of disappears
It
around you.
does. You're locked in the song and you're listening
Mhm.
to your team members playing their stuff, and it's like
Mhm.
it makes this beautiful sound. But just for that hour, you're just like you're not thinking about, oh man, I have to get this report done, I have to get that email answered. You're just focused on something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then the next piece of that question is, what do you find most fulfilling about being an attorney?
Um, I like the business aspect of it. I really do. I like dealing with companies. I like uh, dealing with professionals. I like the the practice that I'm in deals with a lot of employment issues. It deals with a lot of medical issues. I mean, I've been doing this for over 25 years. I've reviewed more medical records probably than some younger doctors have. So um, it's really it's really fulfilling to go and review and get knowledge across a broad base of different kind of specialties, whether it's employment stuff, whether it's medical things, the law itself. So that's really what interests me, is being able to kind of have that broad knowledge and understanding of a lot of different areas. Kind of a jack of all trades, master of none.
And for those that are new listening to us, what type of law does Chartwell practice?
So we do primarily insurance defense litigation. So I joke with people that all the people you see advertising on television injured, we're against them. We're on the opposite side of that. So I personally do primarily workers' compensation defense. We have a practice group of general liability, which encompasses, slip and falls, truck accidents. We have a big trucking practice. We have subrogation work, which involves, if a hurricane blows through, a town and the roof comes off, whose fault is it the roof came off? Obviously the hurricane did it, but we're uh, the manufacturers, we're the contractors, so different things like that. So all different things that insurance companies touch or insure, we defend them in litigation.
So you're working primarily with companies, not individuals as much.
Correct.
Okay. And then I'm gonna pull up for those that are watching on YouTube. I'm gonna pull up the map because I know you guys are spread out throughout the country. You were instrumental in Harrisburg, and now you're in Scranton, so here in Pennsylvania. It's amazing how widespread your reach is across the country.
Yeah, it's really the growth has been unbelievable. It really has been, and it's been a lot of it has been really client directed. We build relationships with clients, and then the clients say, "Do you have attorneys in other areas?" And that has prompted us to move into different areas and bring on groups that they either recommended or we find people. But it's been really kind of a synergistic relationship that has really fostered the growth, and we really have. I think that we really have a special culture, and I
Yep.
think that culture has really pushed the envelope as far as the growth goes. We really we really try and do the right thing, and I think that really translates to the people in all the offices. Hopefully it translates to them because that's the culture that we really try and instill in people in the different offices. And when they come to Chartwell, we do things differently. It's not about me, it's about us.
Hmm.
I get more credit for spreading work to other attorneys in other offices than if I kept it for myself. And that's really as as much as that sounds like common sense, when it comes to the law and law firms, it isn't. I came from a firm that our biggest competition was our closest office in the same firm. We were competing with each other over clients, and that's not the way to grow. So really, we learned how not to do things and looking at some of the other firms, and we really uh, I think that really built something that people at first think is there's no way that this can be true, that this is really the way a firm can be. And they think that we might be selling a bill of goods until they get in here and they're like, wow, it really is. So then those new lawyers tell their friends. And that has really been this organic growth that we've had.
How do you think you're able to, as a team, get all of the attorneys to buy into it, that philosophy? I kind of use the analogy of a boat, right? You're getting all the team members, all the people onto the boat. How do you do that? How are you guys able to maintain that as you're growing so widely?
It's tough. It's really tough because people who don't come from
Yeah.
that atmosphere, if they're not willing to buy in, sometimes it doesn't work. But what we try and do is the core group of people, and then either the founders of the firm or the partners that have been here a long time, we go out and make sure that we're there, that there's FaceTime, that there's visibility. These people see us, they talk to us, they understand what we're about. And then, on top of that, it is okay, we're bringing in a lawyer in from into Texas, and we introduce them to clients
Mm,
with no reservation about wanting them to get the work.
mm.
Not saying, okay, the work's going to come through me and I'll send it to you. No, I want you to have just as strong a client relationship as I have. And it's really opening up that relationship and being, um, and giving to the other attorneys that they realize that this isn't something that we're preaching but not practicing.
Hmm.
So it's really just leading by example, for lack of a better explanation.
There was a book, Jim Collins. It was, you might have heard it, Good to Great, and then he wrote several follow-ups. And he always said the most successful companies find a way to get the right people on the bus.
Yeah.
And you guys have somehow figured out how to do that in a world that's ultra competitive. And I'm sure not everybody shares that philosophy. I did highlight a couple of the values: understanding, collaboration, communication, commitment, DEI. There's a lot here. This may be a good segue for us to talk about philanthropy. And the impetus behind our conversation today is the initiative set up by the leadership, Chartwell Cares. The philosophy, and you can kind of speak to it, is to give back and to make sure that we're not just working in a community, but we're serving that community. We're hopefully effectuating change in a positive way, leading with compassion, leading with love. What does giving back mean to you? What does it mean to Chartwell?
I think, and it really goes back to the founders of the firm, that giving back, we are so lucky and so blessed to be in the position we're in and have the success that we've had, that it's really important for us to not forget how lucky we are and how blessed we are. I like to use the word blessed rather than lucky.
Me too.
Um, and it's really important for us to give back. I mean, at the beginning of every partners meeting, we decide on a charity that we're going to make a donation to. That's the first thing at every single partners meeting is that's decided on. And it's really important to us to give back and understand that this could all go away. Like we're so blessed to have what we have, and there's other people who need help, um, and we want to make sure that we're not turning a blind eye to that. So it's really important for us, and it's about there's something that I think the partnership, and we try and spread it to the rest of the firm, is a kind of a feeling of humility.
Yeah.
We all want to have this humility and realize that, the book that I just recently read that was recommended to me by one of my partners is Ego is the Enemy. And really putting ego aside, because ego is me. It's not us. It's not we. It's not the firm. And the growth of the firm has been spreading that. So it doesn't just spread out to the other partners. It spreads out to the community, and it's important. And we've been involved in a lot of different community involvement in charitable organizations, and we always will. That is something that will always be a forefront in the firm.
So that's beautiful. What I want to share now is the organization that you are working with, and I would love you to just kind of speak to your partnership with them. I'm going to pull them up on the screen. And also, let me set the table for our discussion here. With Chartwell Cares and F4, our nonprofit organization, F4, is really dedicated to creating awareness around hunger and food insecurity. So I say our number one responsibility is education. And what we're trying to do is work with organizations to engage their workforce, that they would then in turn work with local pantries, shelters, food banks, but not just for a one-off food drive. Right now we're doing a holiday food drive here for the month of November, but they would tap into these local agencies and say, how can I help throughout the year? Is it picking up groceries? Is it sorting through a food drive, that food that comes in? Is it cooking a meal? But what can you do on a more ongoing basis? So we're deepening the ties with the local communities, and we're just doing that across the country. So in all of your locations, we're basically deepening those ties that you already have, or we're helping you to engage others that you don't have. I'd love to learn a little bit about this organization, Friends of the Poor, if you want to kind of speak to your work with them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great organizations in the Scranton area. This is one that really does an amazing job in feeding people who are in need, and helping with food insecurity, and helping with. I mean, they go beyond that. I mean, there's donations for furniture and other types uh, of needs that they fulfill. And they've really, Sister Adrienne Barrett is a known person in the Scranton area. She was for decades. And it's all about spreading love through charitable work. And it's really an amazing organization. And it was, a good friend of mine is on the board there. The federal judge that I clerked for had a high regard for this organization, so it was important that if we're picking an organization, this one checks all the boxes as far as what who it serves and why it serves these people.
What's neat, Chris, is we work with a lot of shelters and pantries around the country, obviously 35 plus states. And they actually have a prison reentry system. So helping people that were in prison kind of get rehabilitated, get them back into society. And they also partner with HUD, and they provide 100% rent payments to get people back on their feet. So sometimes you'll see a shelter and it's really neat. They have it for individuals, they have it for families. Sometimes a shelter will be just overnight. So they have an emergency shelter here where you can come in when it's cold during the cold months. Here they have a stay 30 to 45 days. And then sometimes it'll just be a communal serving. And what that means is like you can come in, anybody, for a warm lunch or a hot dinner. And that would be offered throughout the year or maybe only in certain months. It's neat when a organization is so invested in housing, because we always say homelessness, and it's a byproduct of many things. Mental health is at the top of the list, but you mentioned physical health earlier. Absolutely. The number one cause of bankruptcy in our country is due to hospital bills. The other things you think about, someone dies in the family, you lose a job. There's a variety of reasons why somebody's in that position. It's really cool to find organizations, though, that are so invested in beyond just, and giving food's great, but beyond, how can we get you back up onto your feet? Let's give you that step up, and then you can then take care of yourself again. It's really neat to see that.
Yeah.
They have a food pantry here. That's what we're collecting food for. Wow. So they have 14 food pantries, 2 full-time, 12 part-time satellites. These pantries serve over 57,000 families, over 200,000 individuals. It's amazing. And part of what we'll be doing with the food drive, and here's some of the locations. Part of what we'll be doing with your food drive here, Chris, your office is collecting, every office is around the country for Chartwell, collecting non-perishables, but we're also able to donate money directly to these pantries. And you can see right online, they can make a donation, and the donation goes to purchase food. So you can actually select general operating fund. Every pantry is a little bit different. I would say the one that you're working with is pretty robust. It's not just a food bank, and I'm not saying that's bad just to be a food bank, but it goes a lot further than just a food bank. And as
Mhm.
I've been doing some of these interviews, we've talked to some of these partnered agencies. It's really incredible work. I would say God's work. It's incredible work that people are doing, and what you're doing as an organization, Chartwell Cares, stepping up for that need. I hope it extends beyond the holidays, but it's a beautiful, beautiful act.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, we're getting close to time, so is there anything else that you'd like to leave the team with? I know I will say this: Victoria down in Florida, Ryan down in Georgia. They've been laying the gauntlet down. They've been challenging the offices. They're all trying to connect and compete, collect as much food as they can. Any words of encouragement or inspiration to your Chartwell team?
I mean, this is God's work. This is ultimately, these are people who don't have the means to be able to take care of themselves when it comes to food, and this is really important. Um, so the only thing that I would say is just, be thankful when you have food and think about that, um, and then go that extra step. Donate, donate your time. Um, and don't just think about it during the holiday season. Think about it all year round. Um, and there's nothing wrong with a little healthy competition, and I think that that's what drives people. And I'm hoping that the competition will drive all the Chartwell offices to exceed last year and set a bar that will be ecstatic when we count the pounds and the numbers and it'll be something to be proud of because we'll be giving a nice holiday gift to a lot of people who are in need.
Chris, that's a beautiful message to end on, and it's consistent. The theme is we want to be engaged all year round. And this time of year brings up Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol. We think about, how he lived with the idea of Christmas in his heart all year round. And that just means living with love all year round. How can I help? And I love what you said. Always be grateful because it's not guaranteed. Well, Chris, this has been a great time we've had together. Thank you for the discussion. I know how busy you are, but really appreciate it. Thank you for being on the F4 Hunger Awareness Show. For those that are listening on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, please subscribe and follow and like our episodes. We'll be sharing more of these as part of our Chartwell Cares segment. Chris, thanks for your time today.
Thank you, and thank you for everything you do, Derek. I appreciate it.